You are banned!
Oh my God, we got some bad things a brewing at the Treasury, potentially taking aim at Bitcoin self-custody. You're right. So hold on to your own crypto might be vanishing in short time. We're going to take a look at this and a lot of other major signals going on and some awesome stuff happening for altcoins. Alex Becker literally just broke Pump.fun. Shout out to Pump.fun, all the peeps out there. And everyone on YouTube, Twitter, Rumble. I mean, we are all over the place. X, Discover Crypto X, Blockchain Basement X, and of course, my own X. Welcome to the show, you guys. And I do have some major changes coming to the channel here that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Some pretty big stuff. And I've been thinking, doing a lot of searching in my heart over the weekend, and changes are in the wind. So welcome to the show. Let's see who we got here. Who's hanging out with me? Papa Goothsack Nasty. Unbelievable that you're here. I'm Overthinker. Shelby Vol. Hello. Jay is out there selling his wife for more crypto. Whoa. John Wicked Out. John Doe. John Foster Crypto. A lot of Johns. What up, Kyle Watts? Let's get some drinks. Ooh, you heard that crack. Let's get after it, folks. Now, without further ado, let's get into the show. We got a lot of ground to cover today. And make sure you are following me on Twitter, okay? At Druth Crypto here on Twitter. And I also need to post out the Pump.fun link here because we are live on Pump.fun, Discover Crypto and Blockchain Basement. And you know what? You might see some more chaos coming from Discover Crypto on Pump.fun as well. A 1.4 million subscriber YouTube channel. Thinking about it, actually, you better stay tuned. We are live, baby. So let's go here. Make sure to retweet the Jeet tweet as well. Jeet tweet, that matters, man. So if you can, go to my Twitter account, and this is where I release my tokenized version of a show, and there's a lot more tested, and really, Jeet's not a test for the basement, but you're going to see some pretty big stuff coming for Discover Crypto. Kane. Now let's get into the markets. The markets are kind of a mixed bag this morning. Let's check it out. Altcoin index has jumped drastically. We are now at a 70 out of 100 on the altcoin index, yet the fear and greed is at a 51. The current overall crypto market cap coming in right under $4 trillion at 3.98. And systems are kind of a go. I mean, we're sitting here at 114.7. If you were following us in the Discover Investments Group Discord and the trading channel, and honestly, you're doing yourself a disservice if you are trading, as long as we range and kind of ride in this 114.7, 114.5 zone, I think we're set up for some absolute fireworks leading up to some key events happening this week on larger markets. But without further ado, let's get into what the landscape looks like. I feel like we're on the precipice of something very big. And let me know what you think. Are we at the top? Is this all we get? This stupid little 2x, 3x movement that we've seen so far for altcoins? Or is there more juice in the tank here? Not selling Bitcoin below 150, not a bad play. We're going to do it in the morning stream on the basement. So the Apple overlords are angry at Discover Crypto right now. We covered the Apple stupid product release, got hit with all this crap, and we're going to be going live on Discover Crypto very soon. Trim the bushes, don't rip them by the roots. I have more landscaping to do, and I'm finally healing up. Look at I walked into a cigar shop this weekend, and the old man, he's from Georgia. Obviously, he grew up in Georgia. He's like, "You took a chainsaw to some sumac, didn't you, boy?" I was like, yeah, I did. Grandpa, he laughs at me. It is what it is. I'm healing up. I'm feeling good. And you know what? Through all of the things that have happened culturally over the past week, last week, did a lot of internal soul searching. I'm going to up my game when it comes to Bible reference ability. I want to be able to reference the Bible more concisely. I have pretty good hold on historical context and, general market history, but I really want to up my game in that. I've also upped my game in the gym. Seeing that attack on my beliefs and the people I align with has really pushed that thought. I am now stronger than I've ever been, pushing more weight than I've ever done, for more reps than I've ever done. And I'm really using this event to kind of expand the power and the representation of the modern trad dad here. So now let's get into Bitcoin. Let's get into it. Let's check out what the markets are looking like. We're writhing around right here at 114.7. And this trap sell box that I had highlighted last week actually ended up playing out pretty concisely. Yes, we did peak our little head above it at about 116.7 a few times, definitely painting a picture that that is the slap zone. But now we have once again been slapped back down and now testing out this pump 2 moment at 114.7. I'm not too worried about it at all, honestly. In this range, this is kind of where I expected to be. The FOMC, I wanted your opinion. I kind of feel like we're going to be blue balled. We're going to be held back leading up to the FOMC this week. I feel like some market suppression is going to happen. Some intentional sell-offs are going to happen to bring the price as low as possible before the larger markets realize that, yes, the Federal Reserve is indeed cutting interest rates, and they have 3 expected interest rate cuts coming up this year. But the Bitcoin price, not really worrying me. On the larger time frame, let's check it out, what we got here. So I want to look at the weekly and look at that. Lord love a duck. As Piano Matty B always says, we are printing a green dot. And as I was hoping we would see last week, we are now starting to see that money flow try to curve back to the upside. Momentum trying to curve back to the upside. Out, honestly, not looking too bad at all. The washout that we experienced a few weeks ago has played in our hands very, very advantageously. Now we have that proven moment of support at 107.9, and we are cooking on up. And honestly, I feel like all-time highs are imminent, and I feel like what we're seeing on the S&P 500 as well is kind of it's a foresight into what I think is coming for crypto. The S&P literally opened at all-time highs today. This is the weekly on the S&P 500. Open at all-time highs. Tesla going nuts. This market is not done. And honestly, it's a collapse up, in my opinion, but we're going to be trading around it. Here's Ethereum sitting here trying to battle it out and hold that $4,500 key level. $4,500 is very, very important. Kind of discussed internally in our trading groups is if we lose this zone, then we're going to have to go probably fight it out at about 4,300, 4,350 in this zone. So we're watching out for this, but also we have some major announcements here. For anyone that wants to get out there and get involved, they see me posting 50%, 100% gains, 25% gains while I'm sitting there barely awake in my bed, clicking buttons on my phone. If you want to learn how to trade, then we have a great opportunity for you. Breakout prop. We have a code DISCO. Use capital letters, code DISCO. There's not many codes going around to give you a deal on one of the best ways to learn how to trade with parameters, and you have to follow certain guidelines so that you don't overexpose your risk and you learn how to trade in a very, very reasonable way. If you want to check this out, go to breakoutprop.com. We will drop the link in the description and use code DISCO. I may as well drop it in the chat here for you guys. And as I said, the discount codes are hard to come by. So I'm going to go ahead, put that up at the top. If you guys want to get involved, if you're tired of seeing Drew post these mega wins and my American flags and explosions in the Discord, get in there and figure out how to trade effectively, because my God, trading effectively is going to be pretty damn important over the course of this next year. Now, we have some key events coming up this week. August retail sales data is coming up tomorrow. The Federal Reserve interest rate decision expected on Wednesday. FOMC press conference afterwards, of course, and the Fed dot plot projections. Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index on Thursday, initial jobless claims data on Thursday as well, and the first Fed rate cut of 2025 planned to come this week. Big week on the markets, you guys. And if you aren't glued to the TV, I don't know what you're doing, because, man, there's a lot. And you know what? Nature matters too, though. If you need to decompress, the social media ingestion has been very, very difficult for those that didn't know what we're up against here in the United States. And I will just lead with this in this conversation is, find peace with the battle before us. We do indeed, in my humble opinion, have a battle ahead of us. Get right with God, get right with your heart. Now, let's get into the markets, the Bitcoin markets. this guy's getting right with Bitcoin in his bag strategy. Michael Saylor added 525 Bitcoin for $60 million, now holding 638,000 Bitcoin. Absolutely savage. Worth about $47 billion. Michael Saylor not taking his foot off the gas. And honestly, when I talk about why I'm selling altcoins into Bitcoin is really the conversation here. Bitcoin is the long-term play. And the reason why I feel so convicted about it is because it threatens the hegemony of the US dollar. And I even see the Treasury laying out the groundwork and the reasoning for potential Bitcoin confiscations the same way that they confiscated gold in the 1930s before Bretton Woods occurred after World War II. This is a large-scale macroeconomic and really monetary framework change that we're seeing roll out. It's going to take time, probably over the next 5 to 10 years, but it's happening before our eyes. So plug in and make sure that you see where this world is going. Now, where the whales are going, let's check this out. 10 Bitcoin ETFs, net flow of 5,500 Bitcoin, worth about $500 million, just a little bit more. Fidelity had inflows of 2,700 Bitcoin, currently holding 207,000 Bitcoin. I mean, so Fidelity is no spring chicken to this ETF play. Now, Ethereum ETFs having some good movement as well. We had 81,000 ETH come in to these ETFs, now sitting, that data from last week, rather, showing a $368 million additional. And Fidelity, again, coming out here with massive, massive bags of Ethereum. So it's clear that ETF enthusiasm has not waned. Really, it's just that moment where you're at a Mexican standoff. Are we at the top, or what is going on? Why is the S&P continuing to go all-time highs? I thought we had bad job data. I thought the economy was in the shitter. Shouldn't we be crashing? The answer is no, wrong. They're going to cook the books into the absolute moon, to the center of the sun, and they don't care how much inflation it costs you. Now, this is a very, very good thing for retail holders when it comes to how much privately held Bitcoin there is compared to ETF Bitcoin. We have privately held Bitcoin coming in at 65%. Lost Bitcoin, that's a whole chunk of change, at 11%. And ETFs coming in right at about 7% of all Bitcoin. Very, very bullish for the little guy, the person that's out there trying to change their life and privately hold Bitcoin, and a great channel partner that we've had for a very, very long time. I implore you to use self-custody, cold custody of your crypto. I'll show you the little card here. Here it is. So the Arculus cold storage device, and this is one of mine, as you can see, because I've got my greasy damn fingers all over it. But the simplest cold storage device out there to use, and you can become your own bank. Use the ultimate power that Bitcoin gives you to be your own bank. And that is what threatens the government so damn much, folks. Take advantage of the power. It is right in front of you. You can use code DC20 or BASE20 and get 20% off. Very, very good deal. And we have a great partner in Arculus. Man, we got the shirt. I rock their stuff all the time. Now, this is the vibe. This market, it feels good right now, but it's been a long time coming. Let's check this out. The amount of cryptocurrency pain I've endured, and this is King Valix, due to the weight this market, because of these disgusting politicians who take their sweet time, is unbelievable. This is where we are in the markets in the video below. No pain, no gain. Same pattern happening as before, but he tagged XRP. Sorry, you're probably looking at tops of 2x from here, buddy. I love you, and you're probably going to outpace inflation over the next, say, year. But XRP, I'm not horribly bullish on. Let's look at this. Want to watch this. So he's got his little finger. This is the 2013 market. We have 500 days and then an absolute blow off top after the halving in 2013. Standard bull market 2017. 500 days, and then you start the parabolic one, but it really had extra juice all the way up to 17K. 2021, generally the same design as 2017, 500 days, and then you start that run. But look at our blue bulb situation right now. We are 500 days in. We are just getting started with that parabolic run. It's been a long time coming. That's why you hodl for the right times, folks. And when I jeet all of my altcoins into Bitcoin, you're going to get that signal in our Discover Investments Group Discord. So make sure to get in there. It's literally free. To get part of the trading group, you use LBank or Blowfin, get a user ID, verify in the Discord. It costs you nothing. And if you are dealing with a large DeFi allocation, then you know what? it's probably worth the full-on membership. It absolutely is, because we have some DeFi experts in there. You get the concise one-on-ones with whoever you want to in the team, and we will make time for you here. Very aggressive tapping on that screen for sure. Stacey Lewis here. Now, let's see here. We got some pretty interesting stuff happening over the weekend. My wife tagged me in this one. PayPal integrating Bitcoin and Ethereum into its new peer-to-peer payment system. Of course, the largest payment processor on the planet wants to have your Bitcoin. They want you to pay for products in Bitcoin, and they are gladly willing to take it. Mikhail, absolutely. We have Avantis that we're going to be taking a look at today, but also another sneaky DEX play. Avantis has come out and put some huge numbers up. Hyperliquid obviously going ballistic. There's even another one that's popping up that looks pretty good as well, that actually doesn't have a token. So we're going to be looking at that, see if we can get in early on these things, or at least know what the heck's coming. So I can't say we didn't tell you. Now we also have another major company, Amazon, a $2 trillion organization, posting a $500,000 a year job offer for a crypto ecosystem lead. Bitcoin going mainstream. They're building out the infrastructure as well because they want you to pay in Bitcoin. They would like nothing more than to sell you cheap Chinese garbage and receive your Bitcoin for that bullshit. Guarantee that's the play there. I implore, dirty fiat is my favorite mechanism to purchase things with, and I am never going to be selling my Bitcoin for useless crap on Amazon here. Aerodrome pumping, absolutely. Ooh, Mikhail got into Avantis at 37 cents. Excellent job. And sometimes you pick the wrong coin, and the market feels like it just punched you in the stomach, kind of like what happened to Mr. Beast here. I don't know if you guys saw this. This is absolutely crazy. Let's have a look at Mr. Beast and Mike Tyson.
I'm going to take a punch from Mike Tyson. Whenever you're ready. Oh. Okay.
I kind of feel like he gave him a little bit of juice there. Like, you think it's Mr. Beast, you probably want to take it really easy on the guy, maybe give him a little love tap, Actually, that kind of looked like it had a little bit of juice. Let's give it a slow-mo. Let's see here. Let's play this nice and slow, right? Do you guys ever do this where you see something nuts and then you go here, playback speed 25?
You're ready.
Oh, yeah. A little bit, tiny little bit. He's, Mike Tyson's a savage. So that probably hurt. Now, this is an interesting Bitcoin rally signal that I was taking a look at this weekend. Every Bitcoin rally started with this signal. This is from Bull Theory. Look at the chart, the US 20-year Treasury yield, the top versus the Bitcoin bottom. Every time long-term yields peaked and reversed lower, Bitcoin exploded. November 23, yields down, Bitcoin up 175%. November 24, yields down, Bitcoin put up a 60% gain. And then May of 2025, the yields went down once again, and Bitcoin rallied by nearly 50%. Now, in September of 2025, the same setup is forming again. 20-year bond yields peaked at 5.38% and are now going down. And you know what? I'm happy about it. Those mortgage rates are starting to show some weakness and come down too. Makes me very, very happy because I am in the process of looking for a new home up at the new location here. Lower yields equals cheaper credit, more liquidity. Investors rotate out of bonds and into risk assets, right? They're looking for that juice. When the yield comes down on the US dollar holdings, then they look for where the upside is. Each time this happened, Bitcoin was the biggest winner. The chart is telling a simple story. If the yields keep trending lower, Bitcoin could be gearing up for another leg higher. Just like the last 3 times, the next move in Bitcoin could easily send us above 150,000. I know someone was mentioning in the chat that $150,000 target. Now, this is the 20-year bond yield, as you can see, and these steep corrections that it's gone through. And each one of these corrections correlated on the same time frame with Bitcoin's rally, folks. We are right there. They're pulling back that yield. We got this nice shelf, this little stair step to pump up from here to about $114,000. Y'all better get ready for $150,000. We are in for absolute chaos in my mind. And I think the Treasury, the U.S. government knows it. They're doing some sneaky shit in the background and say, I love crypto. We're so pro Bitcoin. They're so pro Bitcoin, that there potentially is a plan to steal your Bitcoin in the works through the Treasury. Let's have a look at this. The Treasury expanding the Patriot Act to attack Bitcoin self-custody, right? From TFTC, U.S. regulators are signaling that common Bitcoin practices like self-custody, swaps, and privacy tools could be labeled as suspicious. This includes pooling or aggregating crypto from multiple persons, wallets, addresses, or accounts, using programmatic or algorithmic code to coordinate, manage, or manipulate structure of a transaction, splitting a transmittal or transmitting the crypto through a series of independent transactions, right? Kind of splitting them up, creating a single-use wallet, address, or account, and sending through such wallets, addresses, or accounts through a series of independent transactions, and exchanging between the types of other digital assets, facilitating user-initiated delays, all kinds of different things. And it seems the FinCEN and the Treasury are preparing to outlaw the use of CoinJoin, atomic swaps, single address uses, and transaction broadcast timing delays, all of which are common best use practices that people have been highly recommending this. Any Bitcoiner leveraging self-custody practices is an all-out attack, in this writer's opinion, on the financial privacy within Bitcoin, right? If enacted, any user who leverages these tools will be flagged as suspicious, and any attempts to send a UTXO that has touched any of these tools will be a rejection, and it obviously could potentially find the person that sent it in prison under this movement. Absolutely insane. And the reason why I am so serious about self-custody is because it is our last bastion of hope. If we didn't have self-custody for Bitcoin, we would not have made it this far. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs would have squished Bitcoin if we, and they would have done that many, many years ago if we didn't have the ability to self-custody. So just take advantage of the power. We have it right now. It's in our hands. Now, as I said, I've been looking for a house. It's been a battle. You know, I literally drove up. We were looking at a school in the area, and, you know, the school is great. And there was houses around the school. And I was like, maybe I should check in on these houses. There's one house that, you know, it sold for about $200,000 in 2020. The Zillow, you know, general expectations of the price was around $600,000, right? Sitting outside the house, I call them up, leave them a message because it's for sale by owner. I get a call back yesterday. No, they don't want the $600,000 that the generalized appraisal should be at. They want $975,000, nearly $1 million for a house that really should be $600K. And this is how I feel. This is the vibe. This is me wandering around this world trying to get this thing set up. Let's have a listen. Have a listen.
Welcome to the market from now. BlackRock bought the block, raised the rent overnight. Boomers want my paycheck just to keep on the lights. The Fed turns the dial like a torture device, bleeding us slow while they smile real nice. Call my lender, they just laugh, say go find a miracle or ask your dad. Can't afford dirt, but they're selling me mold. The American dream's already been sold. Burn the cops, break the law, evict the rich, take back the block. No more bids, no peace, no sale. I'm the storm in your market from hell. Welcome home. Now get out!
God, man, that is the vibe that I'm dealing with right now. And you know what? What planet do we live on where we're heading towards a stagflationary event that we had in the 70s and 80s? But guess what? Back then, the houses were $50K. Now they are $450,000 on average. This is a coffin nail for every young person that wants to own homes right now. They are so beat down. They are so depressed because there is no real hopeful outlook for them in this regard. It's a battle, and this is why we fight on the charts, on chain all the time. And you know what? Speaking of fight, I have to give, I know we covered this, in depth last week, but Charlie Kirk, he was a fighter, man. He fought. I did go to a vigil this weekend. I had a great turnout. Absolutely great turnout here. This is the vigil here. And this is a small town, right? This is a small town. It felt like half the town showed up for Charlie Kirk. Huge shout out to him. But you know what? There was some big. I've noticed that there's been a lot of, and obviously it's good call for healing. One of the more powerful speakers in Charlie Kirk's stead has been his wife, and his daughter came up with tears in her eyes. She asked, "Where did Daddy go?" Her mom had to respond, told her that her father is on a work trip with Jesus, right? And this has really lit a fire in my heart to get more educated on historical scripture and be able to reference it more directly, right? I really, really want to expand that ability. Feel pretty strongly about historical context of monetary markets, but I really, really need to increase that. And I've been looking internally at things that I can improve myself, right? Stop judging myself against the person next to me, things like that. Just judge myself against the best this world has ever seen, Jesus. And it's felt pretty good. And I've done something for and with the blockchain basement. I have applied to become part of Turning Point's network. And this is a highlight. There's been now 37,000 inquiries that have been sent into Turning Point USA over the weekend. To put that in perspective, Turning Point USA had 900 official college chapters and around 1,200 high school chapters, with the presence of 3,500 total. Charlie's vision was to have the Club America chapter, the high school brand, in every school in America, around 23,000 chapters. It's going to come true much faster than he could have ever possibly imagined. Charlie's getting at 10x. We're gonna 10x it. We're gonna 10x it. I'm sorry. Charlie deserves a massive, massive expansion of his organization. An incredibly intelligent, well-spoken person that really opened the eyes of a lot of young people. And I'm going to be part of that. I am hell-bent on being part of that. And I'm really excited about it. I hope you guys will join me in that. Let me take a drink here real quick. Hold on. Okay. God, I didn't know this is going to be so hard even the week after. I didn't know it was going to be so hard the week after. All right. Charlie did something else in the UK, guys. Look at this. This is Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson in the UK. Millions of people showed out in the UK this weekend. Let's have a listen to Tommy, what he's got to say.
We came in our millions, okay? The biggest protest in British history. You, the British public, have now made London the battleground for this fight. We're going to do it again. I'm sorry, some people couldn't hear because there's too many of us. We need to be in Hyde Park. We need to make this the biggest concert, the Unite the Kingdom concert. What an amazing day. Thank you for every one of you who travelled there. Thank you for your behaviour. Thank you for your support, every one of you. We've made London the battleground. We didn't get to finish it. We didn't get to give our closing speeches. We didn't get to tell you our vision of how we can change this country, but we're going to. We're going to do it again. Unite the Kingdom, unite the West. It's a cry for help. We want world leaders. We want them coming from all over the globe. London has been chosen. You, the British public, have made that happen. If you attended, did you have a good day? Do you want to do it again? Okay, we've just broke every record on the amount of people who have ever protested, on probably live viewers on X, all over the board. So I'm tired. It's been a long week, but every one of you helped us make history today.
Godspeed, Tommy. Absolutely Godspeed. And there's so much. There's so many cool posts. Men that have never. I feel like wearing fancier shirts now. I feel like presenting myself in a more respectable manner. I mean, obviously I got, I'm like t-shirts and things like that. Kind of snooping around for the Peaky Blinders overcoats. I'm checking it out, but it's too hot here in Georgia to really wear them. Let's see here. Jay is bringing up a good Christian here, good Christian debater, Andrew Wilson. I will check him out, Jay. Thank you for the highlight on that. We need to highlight the good. We need to highlight the good people in this world, right? Now, on Wednesday, the Fed's expected to cut those interest rates for the first time in 2025 and will blame a weak labor market. This will be the first, just the third year since 1996, the Fed rate cuts while the S&P 500 is at record highs, right? So this is not very often that this happens. And there's a lot of groundwork to be discussed in what this means. And I really like this write-up that Trump inherited a turd of an economy. Ed Dowd warns of a panic rate cut cycle. Let's look into this. As a former Wall Street money manager and financial analyst at financetechnologies.com and storied Wall Street career, he got out of Enron and Lucent long before they crashed and burned. Now, let's see here. What is this? Jesus. All right. So restatement revealed an eye-popping 911,000 jobs were fake, right? So 1 million fake jobs. Dowd said that just after 2024 election that Trump inherited this turd economy and Trump has to deal with a turd disaster. Now, we could have used a better word other than turd. On the phony job numbers alone, Dowd said that you could say that this is statistical fraud and bureaucratic incompetence. I would say it's both. It's not one or the other. What is going on with these ads? I need to get an ad blocker. I guess he agrees. Let's say it's both. Such an egregious 7 standard deviation, 3.4 standard deviations is the chance of lightning hitting you at least once in your lifetime. It's not likely. 7 deviations suggestive of fraud, full stop. All the frauds propping up the Biden economy isn't causing inflation now, just the opposite. The housing market is rolling over because people can't afford them. What was keeping the floor in the housing market was rents of illegal aliens, and that's all going the wrong way. Trump is deporting people and closed down the border. Housing report that we put out a month ago, all indicators are rolling over, and we are going to have a housing recession, right? And a recession doesn't have to be a massive collapse. In the past, it's in the 1970s, it meant a kind of a flat line in a system that relies on constant increase in value. When you have a flat line, they call that a massive crash, a recession, right? This is something to take into account. It is happening. God, these ads are unhinged. Look at the bulge on this one. Dowd says that they cut rates in a great financial crisis starting in 2007, and the stock market did not bottom out until 2009. This is the beginning of what we think is a panic rate cut cycle. And honestly, it's setting us up for major stagflationary pain in 2026. Probably from how the rate of things are moving right now, we're probably going to experience this flatline massive concern level right around the middle of 2026. That's my assertion from what I see right now. But you know what? They could pull some major cats out of the bag. They could enslave stable coins in total and extend that process later on. But the longer that they extend and ignore what's actually ailing the U.S. economy, the worse the repercussions are going to be. I'm preferring a ripping the Band-Aid off in 2026. Just get it over with. And with all of this data coming in, smart investors are moving into not only Bitcoin, but gold. And gold ETF assets are skyrocketing. There's now a record $215 billion in assets under management in gold ETFs. The value of gold ETFs has doubled over the last 2 years. That is not a small move for a massive market here. This comes as investors have piled into gold with prices experiencing their strongest run since. Another indicator showing us the same shit since the 1970s. Year to date, the U.S. gold ETFs have acquired a massive 279 tons of gold. By comparison, the European and Asian market ETF assets under management stands at a combined 200 billion. Gold demand is absolutely strong right now. Now with this collapse up, I do see Bitcoin riding the tailwind of gold, riding the tailwind of the S&P 500, and honestly outperforming them in terms of price increase. But let me ask you guys what you would do. What would be the first thing you do? You wake up, the year is 2030. This is from Borvik. Bitcoin is at $2 million. Ethereum at $800,000. XRP, $53. Man, would people be coming after me, yelling at me for being so bearish? Solana at 4,000. Now, if Solana goes to Ethereum's levels it's at right now, in a couple of years, it's really not too much to think about. For me, I think Solana's here to stay. BNB at 16K, Doge at $5, Tron at $6. What would be the first thing that you do? Would you be increasing your real estate holdings? Would you be buying a tank? Would you be buying 50 calibers? Would you be buying helicopters? Let me know what you guys would do. I know that I would really, I'd probably keep driving the stupid minivan until the babies are, not babies, because my daughter, every time I turn around and she's outside, she's got a stick and she is coming to my car and banging on my car with the stick. I can't have nice things when it comes to a car right now. Until the daughter grows up, she's a feisty one. So I would probably wait on that. More so, I'm interested in real estate, hard iron goods, things that, hold value, and obviously Bitcoin. The intention of me selling these altcoins is to increase my Bitcoin holding. And now on the pairing charts for Chainlink, Chainlink's a hard one to let go of, but Chainlink, Avalanche, Ondo, all the altcoins that I'm in, Aerodrome, when I see week over week outperformance of Bitcoin on those altcoins, I'm absolutely jeeting them. I am absolutely jeeting those without any sadness in my heart, right? I want more Bitcoin. That's the goal I wake up with every single Monday, is to make 1 to 3% of Bitcoin per week. Now, really fine guitars, a tank upgrade. Yeah, grown enough not to touch. Absolutely. 50 cal for sure from Jay. Asian massage, monthly pass. Okay.
You are banned!
I see you. Unbelievable, Papa. You're out of here. Unbelievable. Now, let's go into this. We got some more macroeconomic movements coming this week. Okay, so Trump has said that the trade meeting between the U.S. and China has gone very well, and that the deal has been reached on a certain company. It's TikTok. It's TikTok, a certain company that young people in the U.S. wanted to save. Seems like there's some work happening. It has been released and acknowledged that it was a TikTok deal that they're looking to finalize on Friday. You know what? Instead of finalizing a stupid ass TikTok deal, how about you finalize overall trade within the general economy, right? Before you, I know I'm on TikTok and our channel's on TikTok. TikTok is drivel to me. President Trump to speak with Chinese President Xi this Friday, and that's going to be a big, big move on the markets. I'm watching out for the price reaction to those China conversations. And now even this, Secretary of Treasury Bessent says the next round of U.S.-China trade talks could result in a 90-day tariff pause. This would be the third straight pause for a total of 270 days, aka all bark, no bite. All bark, no bite. The economies are intertwined. One produces, one consumes. American consumers, Chinese producers. China's not too enthused with India's play in potentially trying to usurp them and become the main provider of products to the United States. And honestly, India doesn't have the infrastructure. China absolutely does. They're going to work out a deal. Everything's going to be fine. It's going to be right. Now, something on the other side is how China deals with this Russia-Ukraine problem. Poland is pretty pissed right now. They're moving tanks to the border. They're not happy with what's been happening in Poland via Belarus, which is a Russian proxy, and the military buildup is still building out there. Maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, China is the good guy because they tell Russia to back off, right? Just a thought. Now, let's hop into the rest. We're covering a lot of ground here. I'm getting you guys fully up to speed, and it feels good. This is actually some hopium for Polkadot holders. Shout out if you hold Polkadot. They're trying to do some major tokenomic shifts that might actually help price action, but is it too late? Polkadot DAO has passed a referendum 710, a proposal it's going to put a cap, max amount of Polkadot supply at 2.1 billion tokens with 81% support so far. The replacement of the current uncapped model of 120 million DOT that's minted yearly and reduces emissions by stepping down the new DOT issuance every 2 years, trying to control that tokenomic inflation. Now, this is what it would look like. This is a major, major change to the overall DOT supply. The question is, do people care? Is there an infrastructure for Polkadot to plug into? And is it a relevant project moving forward in this alt season? It's really not shown much life. It's at like $4 right now. Has not shown any of the pumpamentals of many, many other altcoins. There is no denying that. And it's left many people with blue balls that hold this token. This is what the generalized chart looks like. It is dog shit. So this change up hopefully turns this around. Hopefully this turns this around. And honestly, the tokenomic shift, it caused a dump, right? It caused a dump initially. It was at 430, a little bit of a dump down to 412 right now. But it is very, very good to see that they're trying to take action and changing that supply outlook, because the longer that these tokens exist, the more pressure under inflation they fall under, especially if the use case and the utility isn't enacted yet, right? Very, very important to watch out for. And as early investors in disruptive technology, aka crypto and altcoins and Bitcoin, we understand the risk. We understand the kind of slowness to getting involved early. I really hope that this plays out positively on the Polkadot chart. And really, if all tides rise, if all ships rise with the tide, rather, in altcoins, I could see Polkadot revisiting at least the $20 zone. I mean, it peaked out at about $50, $55 last bull market. It had a lot of hype, a lot of juice. I can absolutely see it trying to revisit this $22 peak, just if things remain the same. But hopefully their tokenomic shift allows them to go revisit those all-time highs. What do you think? Can Polkadot revisit those old all-time highs of the last bull market? I want your honest opinion. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Now, SUI, one of the highlighted golden childs of this current time frame, is also doing a $50 million SUI buyback. This is a major shift, very early in its life, and they're already issuing those buybacks. I think some of the hype, some of the excitement around Pump.fun buying its own token and other protocols now doing those buybacks has really started to fire under the ass of a lot of these different projects. The VC, early investors, dumping on people that, these VCs get in for cents, and then the project goes to maybe $1, $2. They have no problem selling on the new retail holders on those bags. The market seems to have wisened up to that a little bit, which is good in terms of crypto knowledge. Bad if you're holding one of the projects that's part of that VC dump scheme. It's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword here. So now Base, now considering rolling out their own token. Okay, so they had Basecamp, the state of Base 2025 this morning. Now there is all kinds of hype about a potential Base token coming to the Base ecosystem. That is something that has been a very interesting thought. Base is powered by OP, a layer 2. Does that leave OP out in the dust, right? Or will OP find, because I know Binance has integrated OP, and a couple other organizations have as a layer 2 to Ethereum. Base held off on releasing their own native token. At the time, there was a lot of uncertainty what the SEC would say to Coinbase if they released their own token. Now, some of those weeds have been cleared out by the current SEC and Trump administration, and it looks like they're starting to feel that out. I want to know what you would do. I actually might take a little bit of a bag and go after a Base network token should they release it. Things that I got in early on, such as Aerodrome and Morpho, have been performing very, very well. I can see a lot of activity coming to Base and staying there. And honestly, one of the biggest gainers, I think Aerodrome has been actually doing really well while the rest of the market's been kind of in the dumps. Aerodrome is at $1.30, up 8% on the day, 10% on the week. Aerodrome woke up while many others slept this morning. Look at that price action. Pumped from about $1.17 all the way up to $1.35 before finding that reset. But look at it's trying to keep going here. Aerodrome is making my bags happy this morning. And I'm currently trading on Morpho, increasing my Morpho exposure with leverage, right? Now, this morning was kind of crazy for Pump.fun as well. Pump.fun people, you're to my right, so I'll give you a quick hello there. Hello. And also, you check my Twitter out if you want to go find the Pump.fun token. We tokenize the show there. Pump.fun broke this morning. Alex Becker broke Pump.fun. But also, not just Alex Becker ran, went on there, streamed his show on Pump.fun today as a test. They had 600 people watching live versus their 3,500 average on YouTube on day one. They made $15,000 in creator rewards on one stream versus $20,000 they make on YouTube for the entire month and 140 shows. Their effort input for Pump.fun versus YouTube was paid out exponentially higher. Very, very cool for me to see. And honestly, I was watching Pump.fun this morning. Alex Becker, when he was trying to go live, he literally crashed the system. And again, pay attention, Discover Crypto. Be making some waves in there very, very soon. 1.4 million subscriber channel here. Now, with all this action, Pump.fun has overtaken Hyperliquid's 24-hour revenue on DeFi Llama data. You have Tether here at the top gains, Circle, and this is expected, but then Pump coming right behind it. Absolutely crazy. Hyperliquid right behind it. Axiom Pro, good job, Axiom Pro, Phantom, and then Jupiter. So something very, very interesting happening on the social fi side of things. Here is Alex Becker. Repeat, this isn't alt season, you overexcited schoolgirl crypto virgins. Alt season isn't a tiny 2 to 3x pump on a few coins. It's every coin pulling 2 to 3x's and many doing 10 to 20x. Coins ripping so hard, the money doesn't feel real. This is coming. Don't climax at the first sight of a boop. And I think that's really reasonable advice. We've seen some boiling of excitement in altcoins. Yes, for sure. But this is not the top, in my opinion. And really, what I'm watching is the larger money flow signals on altcoins that I hold. The money flow signals for Ethereum, but I'm still targeting the first quarter of 2026 for that blow off top. Now, within that bag that I hold here, Chainlink, according to Lark Davis, lining up for the same setup we saw last month. A bull pennant, a breakout, and a MACD golden cross. The trifecta here. What makes this wild is that the MACD is about to cross at almost the same levels before. Last time this happened, Link pumped by over 50%. And here's just a closer view of that. You have that same downward triangle consolidation movement, and then the breakout when you have the MACD cross bullish on the daily. The same situations are playing out right now, and I am so excited for what these bags are going to look like over the next few months here. I built my Chainlink bag over last cycle and this cycle with a very low average entry. I have a lot of conviction in Chainlink, and I think Chainlink is one of the most important crypto projects on the planet. So I'm very, very excited to see those signals going off. This as well. DeFi is now at an all-time high with a $30 billion total value locked in TVL. But from the beginning, Chainlink has played that critical role of accelerating DeFi growth by accelerating decentralized Oracle platform and enabling the launch of advanced DeFi applications like Aave. Aave, probably going to be one of the biggest banks in the planet when this is all said and done. Before Chainlink, DeFi was exposed to the risk of Oracle exploits and centralized infrastructure, limiting the ecosystem's ability to safely scale. Chainlink's decentralized Oracle network infrastructure resolved these risks and unlocked the foundation of core financial primitives. Not just this, and securing a $30 billion market, the literal US government is now getting with Chainlink to provide GDP and economic data. From there, Chainlink is picking and choosing which protocols it'll share that data with. We are literally having the White House bull post about our bags. We are not bullish enough. Now, Galaxy Digital made some moves on their Solana bags this weekend. They received over 1.2 million Solana in less than 24 hours. Galaxy Digital, no spring chicken to the timing of crypto markets and getting involved with the right protocols. They're stacking up on Solana. Very, very interesting note. And here's some ETH TVL highlights here. It's from Coinbase Duck that I very much appreciated. Very important to keep DeFi dominance on Ethereum. So far, ETH is bleeding TVL very hard. Here's Aave, total value locked at 9.18 million. But you have the highlights here when you had the start of Ethereum V2 rewards, the start of AVAX V2 rewards, the sushi attack found, start of UST depegging, stake ETH depegging, and start of OP rewards. They really took some juice out of ETH, but then we have come back stronger than ever. I think it's going to continue. Really, DeFi, RWAs, as things look right now, are going to largely be moving on to Ethereum. Now, a project of yesteryear, it's so sad. Polygon, right? Polygon is a place where Polymarket came out of. Polymarket really changed the game when it came to, expectations, rate cut expectations, political election expectations. Now you can trade whether your companies will beat or miss earning reports on Polymarket. Absolutely insane. Trump made some moves. He is, I don't know if it's approved yet, but he's trying to get it so you only have to report your earnings twice a year instead of quarterly for companies. And his argument is that it allows business owners to focus on making the business successful rather than getting, drowned out by paperwork and having to report those earnings. But it looks like people are going to be able to trade expectations on those earnings on Polymarket. It's a beast. It's a beast. Now, this morning, we saw some crazy price action on Ethena Foundation. It confirmed that the ENA fee switch parameters have now been met. The risk committee is finalizing implementation details before putting this framework to governance vote. The Ethena price action was absolutely ridiculous. Let's get off of S&P 500. Let's go on over to ENA. I was trying to get the long in on this. We had a great call from one of the best traders I've ever come across in our Discover Investments group Discord, but I was working out. I had to have a tight stop loss. It wicked me out, and I almost caught this damn wick, which was quite a move when this news came out. About a 6.3% move, but man, we have since fallen back down, and I'm searching. I'm looking because I think that trader, one of the top traders I've ever met, is correct that Ethena is set up to actually revisit those all-time highs. And I'm fishing around to catch a high leverage play for that. That is a beautiful W pattern formation playing out. We're running into the resistance of this price action historical zone right here. But I think it's a matter of time before we punch out of this and revisit that $1.40 zone. Be great to have one of these trades active when that does go down. Of course, in my humble opinion, because this is not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not your daddy, right? That's what I think is coming for Ethena and the foundation with these fee mechanism movements. Probably going to play out pretty bullish. Now, Avalanche is a sneaky one in this realm. And, low key, beyond all of the, this foundation, they raised $1 billion to build Avalanche Treasury firms in the US. Okay, sure. That's, we can say that's bullish. But I think one of the most bullish things about Avalanche is the rumor mill going about the amount of Bitcoin that Avalanche Foundation actually holds. Now, Avalanche, I'm going to dig into how much Bitcoin the foundation truly is sitting on. It's going to be a moving target. It's going to be hard to really pin that number down. But I've heard some whispers from some really important people within that Avalanche ecosystem framework that it is a whole shitload of Bitcoin that they are sitting on. And I'm interested. Obviously, Avalanche in the arena, very bullish. But you know what? Standard Avalanche bags are probably going to be looking real good here in a minute. And with that, let's actually go look at Avalanche versus Bitcoin to see if we're in the season to sell all of our Avalanche for more Bitcoin. You all remember I did this last year here, and it worked out great, right? So let's go out to AVAX BTC. I was showing my wife this because right now, why I'm selling, I told you why, because I need to get a house and I'm happy to get more Bitcoin for the alts, etc. But I'm not in the season yet, guys. I'm watching the weekly on Avalanche to Bitcoin. I'm watching the weekly on Ondo to Bitcoin. I'm watching the weekly on all of these pairing charts that I hold. Yeah, we've had some juice and our pickles are wet, but we've only pumped by 50%. I think that we actually have the juice to at least hit this zone. I mean, this is a very diminished expectation of 127%. More so, I'm targeting closer to this blue line, the downward trend line against Bitcoin, and that would actually more so land in the 170% zone. I think we could perform pretty well against Bitcoin over the rest of the year. Yes, there will be some chop in there, But you know what? I use this metric in the past. It worked out great, right? We buy the $10 Avalanche here, see massive over performance against Bitcoin. We jeet right here. I didn't hit the exact peak. I didn't expect to hit the exact peak, but we did. And that was $52 a piece, right? $52 a, where is it? Unit. For whoever doesn't like me saying unit in the crowd there you go. But I'm using these pairing charts very, very closely over the next few months to figure out when the best time is to get rid of the bags. Now, Pengu has surpassed 868,000 holders with over $357 million worth of coins burned, 13.6% of the supply. Absolutely nuts. The amount of Southeast Asia, Asian market interest in Pengu is ridiculous. Luca Netz has successfully ran profitable businesses in the past. He's gotten the products of Pengu in Walmarts. I have a Pengu somewhere around here. Where's my Pengu token? Where's my Pengu? Oh yeah. He's got the Boogaloo shirt. This is a match made in heaven for me. The light's so bright. Look at this penguin. Okay. This is cute. This is able to have legs. It's yes, risk play, but I see ridiculous things that mean nothing, like NFTs making a comeback. Asian girls love Pengu. That means that Crypto Stevo loves Pengu. And with that being,
You are banned!
now I had to find you and put you back on the show, but here we go. There we go. All right. Now, Elon Musk came out with some big news. Elon has disclosed that he has a $1 billion purchase of Tesla stock. Tesla stock surged 8% on the news and is back above $425 a share for the first time since January. Oh, wait, Elon's not giving up on his everything app, his robotic AI infrastructure overlord program, and he's interested in buying his own juice, all right, smoking his own supply. People took that as a bullish signal, and Tesla's probably going to be one of the bigger companies on the planet over the next 10 to 20 years. I could say that with pretty strong assurity. Doesn't mean that I am going to go out and buy a Tesla because I love it so much. It doesn't mean that I'm going to put Neuralink in my brain. It just means that I acknowledge the market interest in his products and I acknowledge his positioning in this market. It's pretty strong, right? UBS, a major bank, is actually potentially leaving Switzerland for the US over capital requirements. This is a crazy, crazy move, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Let the American dominance of financial markets continue. And, Trump has come out with some major, major comments. There's a lot of confusion in the world. There's a lot of, what does this mean? What the hell's going on in the world? And Trump has really cleared things up for us. Let's have a listen.
My fellow Americans, we need to call a spade a spade. Trans people don't exist. Let me say it again. Trans people do not exist. I can tape a stick on a horse's head, but that doesn't make it a unicorn. It's a horse, folks. Total horse. These are deeply disturbed individuals who have been manipulated by liars and psychopaths in positions of influence. They are on mind drugs, very powerful, and they're all addicted to porn. Porno is what some people call it, I believe. Very destructive to the mind and spirit.
Oh, Lord.
Is pornography.
Oh, my God. I'm going to be having my jabs. I'm going to be taking my jabs. So
we need to call a spade.
Let's see. I'm going to go to this. I want to go to this. JD Vance posted Charlie Kirk show this morning, literally from the White House. JD Vance posted the show literally from the White House. I was on there when it was first getting going. Very early on in the show, we had 200,000 people watching live. Massive, massive show out. And we got to continue that build out of Charlie Kirk's organization, guys. And, we ask ourselves, how did we get here, right? Culturally, how did we get here, right? We had BLM riots, we had Antifa, we had church shootings, we had Trump assassination attempts, multiple Trump assassination attempts. We had Charlie Kirk now assassinated. We had pro-life pregnancy center fires, literally people starting pro-pregnancy centers on fire, okay? We had Tesla vandalism, right? Making it okay to attack Teslas because you don't like Elon Musk. We had attacks on ICE agents. We had attacks on police. We had attacks on federal courthouses. This is a partial list of where and how we got to where we are now. And you know, people, I've been asked that a few times. Like, oh, that's not connected. That's not connected. If you continually call someone one of the most degrading things that you can, eventually it dehumanizes them to the point where the opposition feels no sorrow in taking that person's life. And that is the degradation of society. And that is where chaos begins. When conversation stops, chaos follows. Let's see here. Might get some Popcat, Brian Wild. I mean, you do you, boo. Apparently I have an allocation in bonk because safety shot, literally the only freaking Wall Street thing that I have is building a bonk reserve. Okay. So this company is sitting on $65 million worth of bonk. Is it going to go well in the long term? Probably not. No, probably not. Is it going to have fundamentals? I'm thinking so. One of the best traders I know also agrees with me. So you know what? I'll sit on it. It's a micro cap. It's a cool product. And I think it worked because I don't even drink. I went to a wedding, got down with it, and I felt great the next day. So I'm interested in it. Let's see how far it can go. It's been a hell of a week already, right? I emotionally was exhausted this weekend, did a lot of internal thinking, and I hope you did. I hope you did too. Now, as we go forward through the rest of the year and we see the price action really start to get juicy for these altcoins, I may end up being kind of an unpopular guy for saying it's time to sell X altcoin for Bitcoin. People will take offense to that, right? There's a lot of long-term visionaries out there, and I shout out to you for being a long-term visionary. Me personally, the reason why I'm selling my crypto is to gain more Bitcoin and expand real estate. Full stop. I have no sadness in doing so. I want to make sure that my kids are positioned with Bitcoin and real estate for the own nothing and be happy future that this world is going down. The average person can't rub two pennies together. The average American doesn't have more than $1,000 in their bank account for rainy day accounts. Yeah, I can complain that I keep a vast majority of my value in crypto, but guess what? Because I've been so focused on this market for so long, I can complain about having to get rid of some, but it's there, right? The bucks are there for those rainy days. And I hope that you guys are preparing for what is to come for this future, guys. There's nothing more important to us than the legacy that we leave behind for leaving our kids and our wives with strength, because we ain't going to last forever. We are not going to last forever, and you can't take your crypto with you. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Share the stream. Help me get the message out there far and wide. We actually got banned slightly by YouTube on Friday for flipping the ChatGPT logo. All I did was flip the ChatGPT logo. YouTube tried to ban me. They didn't have any verifiable reason why they tried. So if you can, reshare the stream on X, on YouTube, wherever you're watching from. I love and appreciate you guys, and I will see you on the other side. Take care.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.